All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, my name is ZakPaine, the corruption detector, and joining me today are my very good friends, not Chris Burrus and Chris Burrus, but Chris Burrus and Patty Greer. We've got to change your name on screen there, Patty. I'll take care of it for you.
I am kind of a wannabe nerd scientist, but it hasn't worked yet. I'm still a hippie chick from Colorado.
That works, absolutely. So how are you both doing today?
Chris and I are holding our breath. Great! I'm feeling so politically charged that I'm bouncing off the walls because what we saw in the last week with the Olympics, that they would actually allow a satanic opening message was just breathtaking. And then the other event where they did it again. And, when you've got millions of people, all ages, looking at what is America representing, and you see the choice that Jay-Z, who's in big trouble, made this year to bring in bad money, literally bad money, and to read the lyrics of what he was presenting in English. Even the Mexican people said he wasn't as big as Spanish. He was speaking babble.
Yeah, I definitely heard people say
babbly, that. Blabbly, blab. And this is representing our country. You'd think Biden was still running things.
Yeah.
Like, it was so unacceptable, but we don't have intelligent people owning things yet. And, a lot of people really disagree with me. They think that a song presented to the world representing America about in another language, but it was translated into really dirty lyrics about a guy named Dick, talking about that guy constantly, and pussycats constantly.
Yeah.
So those two words just it's just so in your face. And I'm thinking, what is the benefit? But to those who do think it's a benefit, I recommend a spoonful this big compared to what I take every day of brain food. And I don't mean to be insulting people that think it's great to hate America, but I don't hate America. I love America. And what I see is this beautiful ascension and only a few little maggots really holding us back. We have the opportunity to be the greatest in the world right now. And I believe we're coming back because I keep washing my brain every day. And I wash my brain with this remedy and a spoon. And it's the easiest thing. Thank you, Chris and Robert, for opening the lab 34 years ago, even though you don't look old enough. They did it. I get to take this spoon and this bottle every day and wash my brain back into intelligence, no matter what I just watched on the news repeatedly. On every channel, they're telling the same story. So it may be true. I don't know. But what I know is I choose C60 EVO olive oil every day because I am going in the right direction. And this is what we wish for all people, is just clear your mind, clear your brain, and come back to feeling nice again. I live in Colorado. I'm sorry if I'm whining, but Colorado is kind of like Tim Walz. You think he's running it, but no, it's his cousin.
Well,
all right.
Patty, I, for one, have absolutely no problem offending people who say they hate America. So, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
They can be offended all day long as far as I care. When it comes to what happened at the Super Bowl and what happened at the Olympics, I have to say none of it surprises me anymore. I mean, I feel that for many years, one of the significant things that we've been fighting against is this general dumbing down and degradation of society. Not only are they trying to implant the idea that America is inherently evil and, to love America and what it represents, that makes you a bad person, but also any form of piety or, maybe a little bit of modesty, certainly faith in something greater than yourself. All of those things are bad. And so they push this demoralization agenda on people, and they'll do it through popular culture, and they'll do it through something like the Super Bowl or the Olympics. I only heard briefly about what happened at the Olympics. I heard something about a Stargate or something like that. It kind of reminded me of that CERN ceremony that happened several years ago with the pictures
same
that I
message.
saw. Yeah. And then
And the same. Yeah.
Well, and this guy, Bad Bunny, I mean, I've never heard of him before. I mean, I hadn't heard of him until they announced that he was going to be doing the Super Bowl. And then they give him a Grammy the week before the Super Bowl. And now he's supposed to be the biggest star in the world. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know that this guy is going to catch the world on fire in the way that they're hoping that he will. And he seems kind of like, who was that guy? There was this guy that they brought forward a couple of years. He had this kind of like country hip hop song, Old Town Road, I think the name of it. And it was kind of cool, kind of wholesome. And then once they made him famous, he started making these crazy videos of like himself, like with the devil and stuff. And he was dressing in drag. I can't remember his name. The dude went like totally loony, and he was found roaming the streets of Los Angeles naked, and he fought a cop, and like he disappeared. And that's kind of the future that I see for Bad Bunny, because there's really nothing redeeming about it. And like you said, I mean, even the people who speak Spanish, they're like, I don't know what this guy was saying. And it took an interpreter to even figure it out. And now that they figured out what it was that he was talking about, I guess they're filing an FCC complaint with probably the Super Bowl and every channel that aired it. And I don't know if he's going to have any personal liability, but nothing surprises me anymore. These people are sick in the truest sense of the word.
Well, the choice is ours, one person at a time. And for this reason, I've brought my new card of the day, which is how I feel about the world.
That's a very Florida card, Patty.
Huh?
It's a very Florida card.
Well, it's a very Patty card because I'm riding my alligator because ponies are for sissies. I'm done with sissies. I really love moving forward with being able to help people rather than hinder. And that's our intention with Evo. So
absolutely,
that's my spiel for the day. I was sitting with a friend watching both shows made fun of by intelligent people like Benny Johnson. Oh my God, it was really fun. But then also, anyway, there was so much humorous stuff that's being pushed as real. And the only thing that's going to save us is our own mind.
Yes.
So this is why people say, why do you do shows so often? It's like, because a lot of people have never heard of C60 EVO and this molecule that's so breakthrough. Of course, nobody's heard about it. Mm-hmm. We're still very small. So thanks you for, introducing us to your audience every month, because that's how people learn about us, is influencers that take the product.
Absolutely.
We don't pay people that don't take the product to pretend that they love it. We only work with people that love it, use it, and can talk about it firsthand. So thank you. We love working with you.
Thank you so much. And I as well. And Chris, speaking of those benefits that Patty alluded there to us, today we're going to be talking about some of the highlights of a study that you guys did or that was done just using C60 EVO.
Well, it was done using our lab's molecule. So this is back, it was published in mid-2012. And our lab is mentioned in that study. Our lab provided the material, so we're kind of the OGs in this space, which is pretty fantastic.
Absolutely. Oh, and you know what? Hold on. This is why your card made me think about Florida, because this is a book called Florida Man, and I got to cover up my face so that you can focus in. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Wow.
Nice. Giddy up.
So yes, that's why it made me think about Florida. All right.
Oh,
so
my other card is Colorado, which says "Save a horse, ride a cowboy." Okay, yes. Your turn, Chris.
That sounds like a Bad Bunny lyric. All right, so let's go to share. All right, so what we're talking about is this molecule. Most of you know it, so I'll kind of breeze through this. This is the ESS60 molecule. Was discovered in 1985. The scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 1996. That's Smalley, Curl, and Croto. Our lab has been manufacturing it since 1991, a full 5 years before it won the Nobel Prize, or the scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize, right? Molecules cannot win Nobel Prizes. I don't know if you knew that. It's kind of interesting fact. I'm going to talk first about how we think this is working in the body, and then break down the individual pieces of the study that really brought this to prominence. So It's the boss theory. We'll get a little technical, but I think these slides will really help kind of bring this home. We know from peer-reviewed published research that this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria. And we also know from way back in the 90s that it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. And what this really looks like, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells. They don't have any, and your brain and neurons have 2 million. Like any power source, there's a negative byproduct. In the case of your mitochondria, it is reactive oxygen species, right? And the way I like to picture these, like little bumper cars, if they're left to their own devices, they run around like little bumper cars, and everything they smack into, they cause rust, they cause oxidative stress, oxidative damage. Internal to your mitochondria, you actually have glutathione and melatonin to manage those reactive oxygen species. And I like to pause here because melatonin is the sleep hormone, and our most consistent testimonial is people take the product in the morning, report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And so you have nice parallels with melatonin and that most consistent testimonial. So here in the healthy mitochondria, you see that you do have the reactive oxygen species, but they're bonded with the glutathione and melatonin. So they're this nice blue color, which means they aren't going to run around like little bumper cars. And what happens if you stress a mitochondria? First off, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, if you're alive in modern society, you have stressed mitochondria.
There you go.
And that's from a tough workout, drinking, smoking, smog, EMF radiation, like you're not getting away from it from your phone. All of these will cause stressed mitochondria. And at that point, they're producing more reactive oxygen species than the glutathione and melatonin can manage. So you can see here, you do have some of those reactive oxygen species, the nice blue color being managed, and then the rest are that red. We could have maybe drawn them like little bumper cars because now they're running around like little bumper cars, causing oxidative stress and oxidative damage. And that's where this ESS60 molecule comes in and really shines. Because again, from peer-reviewed published research, it gets into the mitochondria, and we believe it's holding on to those 6 negatively charged particles. So you can see the relative health of this mitochondria is still good as long as it's holding on to those reactive oxygen species. And then what happens is as that particular mitochondria replenishes the glutathione and replenishes the melatonin, then they come in and manage those reactive oxygen species appropriately. And all of this is why we call this the BOSS, the buffering oxidative stress system. And the summary is we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits, and you should have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials.
That was my next question, Chris. Is this action that you're talking about specific to any part of the body where mitochondria exists? It's like systemic, it's universal throughout the entire body?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, at some point, we're actually going to talk specifically about liver today. And after that, you might go, well, could this help in the heart? Well, the question is does the heart have mitochondria? Mm-hmm. Yes, like all the heart cells have mitochondria. And would it be beneficial to reduce the negative impact of stress mitochondria in the heart? And the answer is yes. And that's why we see these. So, our testimonials are head to toe. And I'll kind of reference this a little bit later, but a lot of our testimonials we can't even share. Right? Because if we share powerful and specific kind of whatever disease-related testimonials, then the FDA looks upon that as us claiming that we, solve that problem or that we address that problem. And this is the perfect time to interject. The FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. The short answer is each system in your body that could have stressed mitochondria, which is every system, this could have that kind of buffering impact on it.
Excellent.
So these are the 3 key pieces, and I'm going to break these down a little bit more, of the original study. First one is life extension. So the Wistar rats lived 90% longer than the control group. None of them had any tumors. We're going to talk about that. And then there was a separate kind of carbon tetrachloride toxicity piece, which attacks the liver. And so we'll end up talking about that. The first and kind of most dramatic, there were 3 groups of rats. There was the group of rats given water. That was the control group. A group of rats given olive oil. That was a semi-control group. And then with ESS60 and olive oil, remember, that was supposed to be the toxic group, ironically, right? Instead of being toxic, those Wistar rats live 62 months on average, about 90% longer. It's also important to notice even the olive oil rats lived 38 months versus 32 months. So an additional 6 months, about 18%. I like to point out, if you don't like olive oil, you should probably learn to like it. And if you like olive oil, you should probably eat more of it, because it has significant positive health benefits. And this is, of course, from the Bhatti study that was published in 2012. And then this is an interesting piece. At one point, my director of research came to me and said, hey, this particular study, right, this kind of overall study could have been 5 separate studies. We're only going to be talking about 3 pieces of them. And this piece is interesting for a number of reasons. So they injected, it's the same grouping of rats, but different rats, because obviously those rats lived very long. Again, one group was given water, one group was given olive oil, and the other group was given olive oil with ESS60. They injected these rats with carbon tetrachloride, which is an oxidative agent that attacks the liver. After 24 hours after the injection, they euthanized those rats and then looked at their livers. No surprise, the ones given water, the control group, had a serious detrimental impact on their livers, necrosis, inflammation, all sorts of bad things going on. The ones given olive oil showed some improvements, right? By the way, these are just representations of the actual slide in the study. They're pretty good representations. And the olive oil rats, they looked a little bit better, right? But not much better. Maybe we could throw it into the same kind of 18% better that might show up here. But the rats given olive oil with the ESS60 molecule almost had complete recovery, right? So as an antioxidant in the liver, like, this is a great candidate. The ESS60 molecule dissolved in olive oil is a great candidate for that. So pretty fantastic result. And you think about liver, right? Liver, and that's the thing that processes alcohol. We have to be really careful. But there are a lot of people who swear by taking this product if they're going to be imbibing and having it mitigate some of the concerns that they might have had from that. So this is the tumor piece. And arguably, this is the most important piece, and even the reason that the rats live 90% longer. So a typical Wistar rat lives out to about 32 months and has a known amount of tumor mass in its body. You can see these tumors, the tumor mass getting bigger. The longer the rat lives, the more tumor mass it has in its body. Even though the ESS60 rats lived out to 62 months, none of them had any tumors, right? So if you follow this curve, they should have had a tumor mass about here, way up here, but none of them had any tumors. Now, I've shared this with people and they've been like, oh, cure for cancer. And my immediate response is no. And then I follow that with another no. There's a big difference between dealing with a cancer that has metastasized and being potentially an anti-cancer, a cancer preventative, right? So something like good exercise, good nutrition, good sleep, we know those are cancer preventatives. This piece of that study just throws us into that arena. Again, no claims. I will share, there's a pretty fantastic Petri dish study. And basically they had healthy cells and cancer cells in a Petri dish, and they introduced an anti-cancer agent. In the presence of the ESS60 molecule, there was increased efficacy of that anti-cancer agent against the cancer cells and protective effects for the healthy cells. So what that means is more cancer cells died, less healthy cells died. Now that's a Petri dish study, and that's kind of the lowest level, but actually really, really valuable information. And if you were to ask, like, why might that be happening? We know very well that cancer cells process energy differently. Their mitochondria function differently. And with this acting in the mitochondria, you've got this difference between healthy cells and cancer cells. And this might be why that particular study happened, right, in that Petri dish. So pretty phenomenal results. Now, I want to share, I don't know if you wave your hands, butt in if at any point. Go ahead, Patty. Yeah,
I want to bring it to your audience to be, what does this mean for me? And I think that's important. when we see this evidence of rats, and we say, what do rats have to do with me? But interestingly, rats are closer to human anatomy, I believe, than they are to mice. Now, how can that be true? And it is, so they use Wistar rats when they're doing studies before they use humans. I've got to say, the three of us are part of the human study because we are the breakthrough group of doing this product daily and talking about the benefits, living the benefits. And when I look at all of our friends and family and influencers with our clean skin and healthy teeth and nails and hair growing, it's like so obvious. But I want to talk about this piece that Chris just spoke of because I lived through physical manifestation of the fact that ESS60 kicked the crap out of my body. In 2019, I was still at the end of my UFO work, and so I was dealing with really low frequency bad people. And somebody decided that they were scared of me, and he was pretty retarded. So he stuck uranium in my garage. And I don't say that word lightly. There must have been something seriously wrong. He put uranium in my garage to take me down.
Right.
And I got so sick. I lost 25 pounds. I was starting to faint. I went through quite a lot, and he got away with it because in Colorado, I guess you're allowed to drive around with uranium and put it in people's homes because the officials didn't find anything wrong with it. And I was visited in the emergency room by the officials and filmed and photoed and documented. They chose to do nothing. So in Colorado, I guess it's fun for people, but it wasn't fun for me. And what happened after that, and now it's been 6 years, never in my life have I had skin cancer. But all of a sudden, after the uranium poisoning, my body pushed out 6 gosh darn skin tumors. And I had them one after another after the uranium poisoning and starting to pound my large bottle of C60 EVO every day. A good amount of it, a tablespoon every day, rubbing it on my feet, trying to do everything to get it in my body because I was poisoned. I had lost all this weight. I was delirious. It was awful. And so anyway, I'm going to the doctor and they're cutting these things off me and they're looking at me and I said, wow, thanks for taking it and throwing it away because I know that this said, get out of that body. And there were 6 of them. Boom, boom. I like all left side, which really creeped me out because I was thinking male, receiving like, woo-woo stuff. But then I realized the other day where I lay in my bed in that house, the garage was down to the left downstairs, all on my left side. So the uranium was really intentional.
Right.
The sick dude, he knew what he was doing because he used to work with stuff like radioactive stuff. So he knew what he was doing, but all left side, and all of it left me. All of it got out of me. But 2 of them, unfortunately, went a little deeper, so I had to go back. And I don't mean to be elaborating, but I think it's fascinating because to me, it's about this. It's totally about this. So the 2 of them, they said, you got 10 stitches inside. Don't worry, they'll melt. They always do. And 10 on the outside, and we'll take them out in 2 weeks. Great. Stitches never came out of the inside. They just melted. Oh, wait, no, what's that? Both of them knotted up the ball that was supposed to melt and sent it through my skin, which is called a spitting suture. My body is so potently evoed in and out that my body just rejected everything that had to do with that monster C and that piece of crap dude. And then I spit out the sutures because my body is so evoed up. I am walking evidence, but again, maybe it's only in my head. Maybe my skin, I'm just imagining that I no longer look like a Harley biker chick. I don't know. But when I put on my glasses, my skin is still smooth and my heels, my things have healed. So I just want to say that I believe that what he's talking about isn't a coincidence, but until we're allowed to tell the truth in times of universal deceit, we can't make those claims.
Yes.
But you should see the shows we did this week with our influencers screaming, first time in 30 years, I can't say it. It's so huge. And he just kept blurting these things he no longer needs, this pill, that pill thing on his arm because the Evo. He's lost 66 pounds. And Chris and I just sit there going, God, I wish we could talk about this because a lot of people are dealing with that and have to do the little prick your finger, and check and beat carefully. And the guy's done with all that because of the Evo.
Nice.
So it's not a coincidence. And the only warning I want to say is we are the only company in the world making ESS 60. We are the only company in the world that delivered to that test that received 90% life extension. And the mice, the rats, didn't have any tumors. If you hear anybody else claim that their product delivers 90% life extension, do the research and see if it came from our lab because we're the ones that delivered it. Nobody else did. But it's almost a joke to us watching people pretend they're us. And some are charcoal, some are water, just be sure you're getting the good stuff if you want to be changing the systems in your body and clearing your mind, because we're seeing a lot of humorous fraud where people are claiming our results, but they're not buying from our lab. And you're not going to be able to brag 90% life extension unless you really did it, because that is the longest longevity results in history on lab animals by far, by tens, right, Chris?
Yes. Yeah.
By dozens.
Yeah. Pretty incredible. I mean, I know that I've never seen or heard of anything even close to that. I mean, I don't think I've even heard of anything like remotely in the same category. And for both of those events to take place in the same study, I mean, I know about Wistar rats because, I've done a lot of research into a whole bunch of different studies. I've looked at a lot of different medications and just like trying to see how things activate in people's bodies, and not just medications, but like, peptides and all that stuff. I'm like a body hacker kind of. So it's one of the reasons I like you guys. But when you first told me about this study, I was like, there's no way. Like, because I know that isn't supposed to exist. Like, I mean, these rats are bred with one thing in mind, and that is to develop tumors and die at a certain point, because the studies have got to be replicatable. You've got to have the everything that you set up. It has to be replicatable if somebody else wanted to go ahead and do it. And that way they can take the same type of rat, they can do whatever it is that they want to do with it, and they know that, if A, B, or C happens, it's because it's the exact same thing. And for these results to exist in the way that they do in the study, it's just mind blowing. And to your point, Chris, about, the difference between, like curing cancer or perhaps, staving off the circumstances which would result in cancer. I think that's something really notable, because a lot of people are worried. I mean, it used to be that cancer was rare, and now it's almost like you're pretty much guaranteed at a certain point. Pretty much everybody is going to get cancer, whether that's from getting a jab or from toxins that are in the environment or the crappy food that they feed us. I mean, there's just so many things out there that people are putting into their body unwittingly, oftentimes, which result in them getting sick at some point in the future. And in my mind, anything you can do to try to make sure that doesn't happen, I mean, I'm 100% on board.
Yeah.
And this is so potent and so easy. Spoon.
Yeah.
Before noon, or else you're wired at night, in my opinion. Chris can do a big spoonful at night and a cup of coffee and go to sleep. So not everybody, but I take it before noon because it wires me in a perfect way to get the work done, mental focus all day long and energy, and then I'm ready to fall apart at 9 or 10 and just have the deep sleep. It's really nice.
Yes.
All right, back to your science.
Yeah. So the next piece I'm going to talk about is really kind of implementation. As I was stepping into the role, still in the role of a chief scientist of a carbon nanomaterial manufacturing business, now chief scientist of a health and wellness company, my first thing is like, well, why did these rats live 90% longer? What's driving them to live 90% longer? And I kind of surveyed the medical community, and they don't all agree. Like, that's how science works. But in general, they think of longevity and aging as an oxidation and an inflammation process. And so There's actually peer-reviewed published research that shows our molecule to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. There's an ad hoc study even showing it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. So as an antioxidant, absolutely. And we actually did see that here. Like, this is an antioxidant in the livers. That's the specific result of this study. And then the next is inflammation. And we have to be really careful when we talk about inflammation, because the FDA equates conversations of inflammation with the diseases of inflammation, which are also the diseases of aging. So arthritis, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, cancer. So if I come on your show and I say, hey, we address chronic inflammation, the FDA hears me claiming that we cure cancer, cure cardiovascular disease. We are not doing that. There is so much research that would need to go into this, and frankly, very expensive research to be able to make those claims. Now, having said that, I like to talk as much as I can about different markers related to inflammation. We're actually in the process of starting a clinical trial on a marker called hsCRP. It's often used to understand your cardiovascular risk, cardiovascular health risk, and also to understand your cancers. We're doing a study on that. These next 3 slides are about different biological age tests that I've taken and how they can potentially interrelate here on the inflammatory spectrum. So this first one, ESR, by the way, don't worry, there is no quiz after this. You do not need to know how to say erythrocyte sedimentation rate. Basically what this test is you take a drop of blood, you put it in a capillary tube, and you hold it vertically, so expose it to gravity. And the rate at which the plasma separates from the blood cells is an indication of your inflammatory status. So higher sedimentation rate, higher inflammation. And when I took this particular test, it had me at 20 plus years, and this is a biological age. It had me at 20 plus years younger than my chronological age. So I'm pretty happy with this result. Let's move on to another test. This is by the way, this is available at Core Health. So these are off-the-shelf tests. GlycanAge is another test. It's looking at glycans and how they attach to different, and glycans are sugar molecules, and how they attach to different molecules in your blood. And that tends to have one trajectory. As you age, it goes one specific direction. And it's an indication of inflammatory status. And you can see that here. Inflammation alters this predictable path. When I took this test, it was kind of interesting. At the time, it had me 34 years younger than my chronological age,
wow,
which was a biological age of 21. I like to kind of joke, if you're biologically younger than 21, can you still drink? Like, is that I guess we're not testing that yet. But fantastic result. Now, this next one, I didn't like the numbers and still don't like the numbers, but I do like the direction, and kind of let me explain. This one is called DNAge. I think you could find them at dnage.com. When I first took the test, I took it when I was 51. It had me at 59. So of course I was not happy. Like, I'm taking C60 EVO. I'm doing a lot of good things, eating clean, making sure to get exercise. But what I did like is when I took it 3 years later, it had me at a biological age of 58. I'd actually gone backwards biologically 1 year over the course of 3 chronological years.
Wow.
I would like that pace to continue. Like, that is the goal for me. And then kind of last slide is, people often ask, what do I expect? What can I expect if I'm going to try this product? How long do I need to take it? We think of it more like a 3-month journey, and it does have a lot of parallels. Remember, our most consistent testimonial, focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep at night. So the first month, we're looking at focus and energy. I lean on one particular testimonial to kind of exemplify this. We had an influencer. We gave her some product. She took the product in the morning, recorded a video that night. And in that video, she shared that she didn't finish her cup of coffee that day. If you're a coffee drinker, you know that finishing your cup of coffee is a big deal, or noticing that you don't, like, not finishing it and then also noticing it. I'll share, I used to be a 2 to 3 cup per day person of coffee per day. And now I'm 1, maybe a half. And a lot of it is about the ritual, right? I come into the office, I go make my cup of coffee. It tastes good. I've got the stuff that I want in it. And I don't really need to drink it for the energy anymore. Month 2, we're looking at deeper sleep. I mean, people are probably experiencing this in month 1, but it really comes of note in month 2. And I think the reason is everybody gets a little bit more or less sleep each day, right? Unless you're like really rigid about your sleep and maybe you're that kind of outlier. And because of that, it's hard to trace good sleep and the benefits of good sleep, that focus and energy, that not feeling groggy in the morning, to the fact that you started C60 EVO some time ago, right? And the testimonial I lean on here is my business coach continues to share, for 50 years he needed an alarm clock. When he started taking C60 EVO's formula, he wakes up before the alarm clock. Now, I like to point out he's a business coach, right? So he's doing late night mixers. There's late night business dinners. None of that matters. The only thing that does matter is if he doesn't get the product for about 10 days, then he starts to need the alarm clock again. And then finally, month 3 is when that accumulation of, again, reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria starts to show up systemically. And here's where we have, frankly, many testimonials that we just can't share because we've got to do more research and kind of comply with the FDA requirements. The thing that I will share is my father-in-law was walking with a cane right at about the 3-month mark. He stopped using his cane, started walking farther, like no surprise there. Wow. And so not because of our product, but because he was walking more, he started losing weight. That became kind of this nice positive cycle. And that's kind of the systemic benefit that we notice in people, that people report to us in month 3.
Excellent. Very, very cool. So I take it personally first thing when I wake up in the morning. I wake up at 9 o'clock every morning. I go into the bathroom, boom, do a spoonful, and then I am good to go. And then, of course, I do a second one every time we do an interview together. But yes, I mean, I'm like President Trump, okay? Like I need like maybe 5 hours of sleep every night. So my brain doesn't turn off until the moment that it does. And then I fall asleep, I stay asleep, I wake up at 9 a.m. and then I'm back at it. And and I've had all kinds of wonderful experiences with it since we met and since I started taking it. I've told you guys before, I used to have huge problems with my knees. Don't do that anymore. The only injuries I've had with any sort of regularity has been my lower back, and it's always because I do maybe more than I probably should. And it's a physical stress type of injury. It's not because like my back is bad. It used to be that like, I would have a really hard time and I'd have to go to the chiropractor all the time. Don't need to do that anymore. Maybe go twice a year now, if that. And it's more just like maintenance, just to make sure. But other than that, I feel like I look great. I feel great. My brain is humming along, and definitely really enjoy my experience.
Yeah, you do look great. And you're freshly married.
Yes.
Life is good.
There we go.
Hard to complain. We've been talking about all the physical elements, and because I'm the woo-woo of the company, the girl, I not only brought us facial serums and body creams and lip balms that also are highly beneficial. I also want to talk about the spiritual element that is really helped by this product as we clear away the mitochondria from all the toxins. And the mitochondria that Chris showed us, those images, is the powerhouse of every cell. And we've got mitochondria throughout the entire body except blood cells. But most of the body has 50 to 5,000 mitochondria pumping the cells with energy as long as they're clean. But when they're toxic, they're pumping the cells with sluggish energy. And that's what we feel. And we're just like, why can't I, have any energy? I'm so tired. It's because you're all toxified by all these things that we mentioned, ignoring the fact that, that what they're dumping from airplanes daily, and it's who knows what they're dumping because there's still no rules in 2026. Pretty shocking. But all of a sudden, a lot of spiritual people are saying, what is it about this product that I feel more spiritually clear, not just mentally clear, my memory, my perceptions, my reading ability, but I feel God again. Like a lot of people through all this that we've been dealing with and tolerating are finding God again. And if we can clear the gap that's blocking our brain heart connection, what a great thing it'll be. So, here, let's talk about the mitochondria in the brain. We've got 2 million mitochondria in every cell of the brain. Well, that's way more than the rest of the body. And the pineal gland back there, that is our connection to God, spirit, our higher self, is all clustered on most people, calcified with all kinds of toxins and crap. But when you bring this into the system daily, and you start to clear the mitochondria, the powerhouse of all those cells, the brain for a lot of people is the first thing to notice. And you'll be looking around like, oh, this isn't possible. I can't be thinking clearly again. I've been so confused. I'm not doing anything. Oh, except that. So I hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, why is this no longer bothering me? I'm not doing anything different. Oh, except that. And it's like, well, that is your answer, sweet one. And the peer-reviewed results have been massive. Like the can't say those healthy words. When people get sick and they don't want to get sick any longer, C60 EVO delivers 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant, but peer reviewed studies only showed 125 times. I'll be satisfied with that. So somewhere between 125 and 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. You'd have to take a lot of those powdery, nasty packets and stir for about a week to get a spoonful value of this. It's so easy when you've got something this strong to keep you from getting germs and coughing and sneezing. Oh, look at me avoiding words. Yeah, we're in a challenging time, and I think the most important thing is our heart and brain connection. And I feel like I have gone through a lot of transition this new year, like learning to ask more for what I really need and want so that I don't have to sit around and be dealt things I don't. Everything's changing. And if we don't change with it, we're going to be left behind. And here it's my fault. I encouraged my family to get out of pedo public school, and they did. We've been homeschooling.
Good for them.
And we're in a town where our new restaurant's run by somebody that works with our dirty governor for years and years. And I'm like, that's why I haven't gone in there since it's been open. But this whole energy here is just very unwelcoming for intelligent people that are choosing a higher consciousness. It is still carry your thing that Soros delivered dozens of to in your little town. Only one guy was out this Saturday. One guy by himself. Honk, please, at my nasty sign. Hey, please join me. Okay, so they're down to one. I guess they're not paying them to come to this little town anymore, but people are like, how can you know this much and not go postal? It's like, same way I got through 2 hip replacements less than 2 years ago. Evo. Like, how can this much goodness be in a bottle? I don't know. That young kid over there and his buddy have been making this product for a long time. All I know is I take it daily because it works for me. And my mom is about to turn 97. Last week, her helper sent me a photo of her out at a restaurant eating a burger, rolling her eyes just like, and I was like, she's at a restaurant? I thought she wasn't going. Oh no, we went to dinner last night. My stepsister just flew in. She goes, what's going on with your mom? What are you giving her? She's better than she was last year. She's better than she was 6 months ago. She's about to turn 97. A lot of people don't get better at that age. When my mom runs low, she lets me know.
Stuff.
And her skin is absolutely gorgeous. And when she runs low, she sends me a photo of the bottle tipped. Like, okay, mom, no problem. But her assistant, who really is marvelous and cannot leave because she keeps mom alive, she also tried the products and she hasn't had one of those big M headaches since her first sample of Evo. And she was getting a shot every 3 months. Every 3 months. It was so bad. She's never had a break from those big M headaches. And she can't thank me enough. And I'm like, I can't thank you enough. So if you want to gift somebody something effective, somebody you care about, I mean, for me, it's the greatest gift because It's the gift that keeps on giving. When you can improve your health with something this easy, that's not a drug. I think two ingredients, easy to read, but like, how can they be making this in a lab if it's only found in space and at the edge of volcanoes? Or, plate when you get candle, and it burns, it's teeny, teeny amounts. We had to learn to make it in our lab. Chris and Robert did 34 years ago. And they stayed at it until they figured out how to vaporize graphite rods at the heat of the sun in a metal chamber, counter rotating, spinning. I mean, it's so complicated. And somebody wrote me yesterday and said, why can't we just make ESS 60? I'm like, you can. Might take you a few years to figure it out and a lot of money because I saw the machine. It looks like Star Wars. I don't think you could move it. It's like a massive, massive machine. But when people don't understand what it takes to make this product, that's why our last show with you, we took people into the lab to see the exceptional difficulties that they faced in the first few decades, but now smooth sailing at our lab at C60 EVO. Of course, I say that from Colorado because they don't tell me if they have issues that aren't as smooth. But from what I can see, every customer says, thank you. That was so fast. It came wrapped so beautifully. I feel so much better. And all we do is get thank you letters as far as I see. So I'm not dealing with the difficulties of running out of caps or, any of that because I don't think we're dealing with it. We're dealing with really a lot of thank you letters at a time when people need it. And all I can say is I am not highly active at 72 like I used to be, but I sure love the ease of feeling better with this product on a spoon. So
Beautiful.
what we're talking about that is this easiest thing is our top selling olive oil. You can get a 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, 32 ounce bottle. And depending on if you want to take a teaspoon a day, 4 ounce, tablespoon a day, 8 ounce bottle, you're going to notice a difference in how you look and feel. And if you really like the difference in the softening of your skin, you might want to do our starter set, which is the olive oil, edible on a spoon, and the facial serum, which comes in this beautiful gift box. And when you take it out and open it, I just opened a new bottle an hour ago. It smells so good. And it'll smell so good at the end of the month. It's rosemary oil with the base of chia seed. And I've never heard of that in a facial serum. But our formulator has written all these books on raw foods, natural healing. And this product is a wondrous combination of lovely organic natural essences. You're going to love how your skin feels with the C60 EVO Advanced Facial Serum. So we're offering deals because, as Chris said, 3 months is going to get you set up to enjoy the full benefits of more energy and mental focus, and then better sleep, and then all of the above elements coming together in your body to give you maximum noticeable benefits. In my opinion, it's the first week, but for some people that are not as focused on what they feel and think, it might take 3 months, but that's max in my opinion. So the 3-pack is a wonderful combination. You get yourself set for the next 3 months and you see how it works for you. We also do a 6-pack if you have others that you care about. You can save a little bit more, stick them in your cabinet away from direct sun or heat from the stove, and they're going to last for a few years after you open the bottle. But you might want to give them to friends and family. Giving it to my mom was the best thing I could have done because she's still here. And I'm just going to say that. If your parents can't carry on a conversation because they don't remember things, you know what that's called? It helps. So if you want to just get 1 or 2 or 3 or 6 and you want to sign up for a monthly subscription, you can make it easy on yourself and we will just send it to you regularly. If you contact our customer service and say, bigger bottle, half as often because I live in Europe or Asia or Africa, no problem. We'll send you a really big bottle every 3 months. Whatever you decide, we set it up for you. Our customer service has over 500 wonderful five-star reviews. They are the nicest people, and they are open Monday through Friday during typical work hours. And the phone number is usually in the top corner of our landing page. But if not, you can reach us at hello@c60evo.com. And this landing page that we're looking at, I do want people to know you can find this exact page that we are looking at our name and Zach's name, which is C60 EVO, like evolution.com/red pill 78. So this is again our starter set. Absolute favorite. We sell these to most people because they care about their skin and how they feel. So this is a wonderful way to begin learning about our products. And a lot of people just say, give me a monthly subscription, I'm hooked. We actually are up to 70% resubscribes. That's a testimonial right there. 70% of our sales are people resubscribing, and we're constantly bringing in new people. But people love to save money, and the subscriptions do that. And if you decide you don't love the product, call us, send us an email, and we won't even ask questions. But very few people do. I'm just saying you're not obligated. So again, you've got the one lovely set, and you can do it on subscription or single. And then we've got the 3-pack where you can set yourself up for the 3-month maximum benefit. Subscription will save you a little more. Or the 6-pack if you've got people you love or you don't trust the US mail or UPS for the next year. Who knows if they'll be around, and you want to stock up to be sure you have it. The 6-packs are pretty wonderful. And again, anything you do on subscription, you're going to save money. And when you get to this landing page and take a look, you'll have another secret code also from Red Pill 78 that if you use that code, you'll have another small savings.
That's right. $15 off your order when you use that code RedPill78. And if you didn't have a chance to write any of this down, obviously the link and all of the information is in the description below this video. You guys can check it out. And once again, I really appreciate you guys being here. Patty, I keep forgetting to tell you, I got to get some more of that tangerine body butter because Lisa ran out and she is like scraping the inside of the case right now, trying to get every last bit out that she can. So we'll take care of that.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people want to take a bath in it or lick it out. But lick out the olive oil or the MCT coconut bottle. This is for the skin, you want to just rub it on. But yeah, our essences make people want to eat the products. The rosemary facial serum is so lovely. And we almost got to the other facial serum. This was such a thing with me and the guys at the lab. When I called them and said, my skin is changing, I really want to get on face serums, they all went, yeah, we're a bunch of guys. I don't think so. And then I finally, Patty Pushy, got the face serum in the door, and they made a beautiful presentation. The gift box is really lovely. And they all wear the facial serum, and their wives are going, honey, your skin is so smooth. So they started playing around with more face serums, and they came up with UTH29 peptide, which is this miracle peptide that's delivering incredible results for the last 30 years as well. And so the guys at the lab came up with this wonderful formula with the ESS60 in an olive mixture, beautiful rose essence, really nice damask rose. And a lot of people say that's my favorite scent, but all of our scents are your favorites. And then the tall bottle is this blue peptide cream. And the reason we have 2 bottles to deliver this product is to save you from having things you can't pronounce, like emulsifiers or crappy chemicals. So we made it so that we have 2 products. One's oil, one's cream, and you freshly activate. Super simple. 5-10 seconds in the palm of your hand, and the instructions come with it to take 1 pump of the tall bottle, the blue lovely cream in your palm, 2 drops of the oil for every pump of the blue. You freshly activate, put it on your face, and you're going to see some beautiful results. And as we know, peptides are delivering a lot of kind of new breakthrough positive results, so it can't hurt to blend that with ESS60. that won the Nobel Prize. And anything that you get, if you do sign up for a monthly, you can count monthly subscription. You can count on us sending it to you every month until you change your mind. And you'll save money with all of these little steps. Buying 1 or 2 or 3 or 6, save money. Use Zach's code, save money. Sign up for a monthly subscription, save more. And I think you'll be extremely happy with the results no matter what you spend. People are going to say things to you like I keep hearing, wow, what are you doing? You look different. It's really nice when you've got something that works in a world full of things that don't.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't go wrong with any of it. All right. Well, I, again, really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much, as always. And any final thoughts before we close out?
Chris?
Well, yeah, I think the smartest thing to do is to try the product. Like Patty mentioned, we have so many of our customers who are on subscription. Even if you just want to try it once, go ahead and go on subscription. You can cancel at any time, and our customer service team is amazing at helping you really accomplish whatever you want with our company.
Excellent.
Another thing I'm hearing a lot of people say is, at first, my income was so tight, my Social Security, but now I don't have medical bills. Now I don't need to buy my drugs.
There you go.
Now I don't need to buy all those vitamins that really didn't do anything for me. People are finding amazing results. I'm not saying it's going to change how you need or don't need drugs. We have nothing to do with that. We're not doctors, but we're hearing testimonials. The other day on the air the guy was just screaming with excitement. So if you guys want to scream with excitement potentially about feeling and looking better, it's so easy. That's all I can say. Not a huge investment. 4-ounce bottle will cost you around $80. And if your health is worth $80 for a month of every single day a spoonful, miss a few days, it's close to a spoonful every day, but nobody remembers every day. This is a good little investment in your future, because when we talked about all these benefits, we talked about we can't make claims. We can also just simply say preventative. The word is preventative. If I knew I was doing a marathon tomorrow with my new hips, I'd definitely be hitting the Evo bottle the day before, because the workout, the prep, where you're gonna hurt tomorrow, maybe you won't. Wouldn't that be amazing if maybe you won't? And that's what we hear from a lot of people. I take it the day before, I do the race, and I'm just waiting, but I don't hurt anymore. So I'm not saying it'll work for anybody else. Maybe just a coincidence. But preventative, you feel sniffles, you feel a little tickle in your ear, you're around sick kids, double your dose. I tell everyone it's that easy. So be nice to yourself so you don't need this much. That's all I can say. It's wonderful to feel good again. So thank you for your beautiful audience and the
Absolutely.
opportunity. Thank you, Chris, for making this product. And I love representing the company as one of the owners, because it saved my life a few times. And that's the only reason Chris and I are working together, is because I know the product works, and I was looking for something to help people. Chris and Robert have been doing it 34 years. I think we can trust them.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate you both. Everybody out there watching, the link is in the description below, c60evo.com/redpill78. Check it out and let us know what you think. And I will see you guys both once again very soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.